There are many arm wrestling fans that are not feeling happy after seeing Levan Saginashvili's respectful question being completely ignored by Engin Terzi. Some are saying that it was flat out disrespectful towards the number one arm wrestler in the world. We'll have a conversation about this subject, but before that, let's discuss Levan Saginashvili's comment about Hermes and Hermes Gasparini's response to that. So by now, most of us have already seen this post from Engin Terzi. We even heard Levan Saginashvili say the same thing in the interview, that he believes Hermes Gasparini is using fake weights. Now, there can be a few ways in which we can interpret this comment from Levan. Number one is, which some people are saying is true, it's that Levan tried to lift those weights and he couldn't. That's why he now thinks that if he, being the strongest arm wrestler in the world, couldn't be lifting those weights, then there is no possible way that Hermes is also lifting them in a legit way. There has to be something shady about that. That's why Levan believes that the weights that Hermes is using are fake weights. In fact, if you watched Hermes Gasparini's response video, he said the same thing. He believes that Levan tried to lift the same weights many times. He failed every single time. That's why now Levan believes that I'm using fake weights. But it's not true, and Levan will feel those real weights on the table on match day. If you remember, in one of my past videos, I also said that I think right now there is no one in this world who has more back pressure and more riser lift than Hermes Gasparini. I think he has the world record, and even Levan Saginashvili couldn't lift more than that. So although this situation is not really true, Levan doesn't really believe that Hermes is using fake weights, I won't be surprised if Levan tried to lift the same weights just like he did with the Devon-led pronation lift, but this time, unlike the last time, he failed to lift the same weights. I mean, 93 kg back pressure and over 65 kg riser curl and 50 kilos for 20 reps on the same exercise, it's no joke. I won't be surprised if Levan failed at all of those lifts. Even Michael Todd said the same thing in the recent Engin Terzi interview. He believes that right now Hermes Gasparini has the strongest hammer curl or back pressure and the riser lift out of anyone who has ever arm wrestled, including Levan Saginashvili. But still, I would say that it's a no-brainer that most likely Engin Terzi asked Levan and Hermes to do something spicy, to come up with something that would create a hype around this match, and then Hermes and Levan came up with this idea. Although I'm not sure whose idea this actually was. But all of these conversations were 100% already pre-decided, and there is no way that Levan believes Hermes is using fake weights. So now the main topic. Let's see a few seconds of that clip.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to discuss this topic with Engin of maybe introducing camera refereeing, video refereeing to the sport, like attaching the camera to the table, and this would resolve so many long arguing at the table and help refereeing. What does he think about this? I think this would help us a lot.
Let's go to the last match of the card: Michael Todd versus Vitaly Laletin.
So basically, Levan asked Engin, he told Engin that he wants to have a conversation about this subject. And throughout that question, throughout the translation part of that question, Engin kept staring at his phone, kept reading the comments, and as soon as the question or the translation was finished, he probably didn't even hear what Tourniquet was saying. And this is not a new thing. Engin does that almost every single podcast, multiple times per podcast. And I won't even say that he's the only person that does that. I myself have done that quite a few times. But I'm not usually reading at the comments. I am staring at my screen trying to figure out how to share screen something or how to find a photo that we're talking about to share that stuff. Okay, I'm pretending that I'm listening to what you're saying. But with me it has happened maybe like 3-4 times. And it's also not the first time that Engin is being called out for that. So Levan's question was about having table cameras just like Igor Mazurenko used to have. Maybe that was another reason why Engin Terzi ignored this question. It is not like this question has been asked to him for the first time, but for some reason he does not want to have those table cameras. Maybe he doesn't want to copy Igor Mazurenko's idea, but I think he should. In the recent times, we have seen many reviews where there was no possible camera angle to determine whether it was an elbow foul or not. Sometimes even if it was a pin or not, the referee just couldn't see that, the fans couldn't see that, the commentators couldn't see that because of lack of camera angles. But I think the problem is Engin or any other promoter these days, they don't want clarity with the rules. They don't want the rules to be perfect. They don't want all of the elbow fouls to be called. Why? Because it creates controversies. Most of the times it creates some long matches. The promoters do not want the rules to be strict. But still, I believe if we keep on complaining about that, eventually they will have to listen. Eventually they will have to implement these ideas. But still, ignoring Levan Saginashvili like that, it was not good. And Levan Saginashvili's face said it all. He also didn't like that. Thanks for watching. Like the video and I'll see you again.